Hey, good morning everyone. So today we will be talking about break even. So we've finished discussing about discounts, also about markups. Okay, so we are to move on with break even. So ano nga ba yung break even na yon? At ano-ano yung mga involved para malaman natin kung ano yung break even or break even point sa isang business. So, pag-uusapan natin yan today. Okay, so our objectives will be to differentiate profit from loss, to illustrate how profit is obtained and how to avoid loss in a given transaction, and for us to be able to determine the break-even point. So, let us start with the definition of terms. So, when we say revenue, this refers to the amount of money the firm receives for the sale of goods of payment for the payment for the services they render. So, ano siya, yun yung nare-receive mo na bayad mula sa iyong mga customers. Then, for the cost, it refers to the amount of money the firm pays for the production of or expenses they spent for the product they offer. So, yung kumbaga yung ating puhunan, that's the cost. Then, profit, the difference between the revenue and the cost. So, ayun, nandun na rin naman yung word na difference. So, ibig sabihin, para malaman natin kung magkano nga ba yung profit natin, we subtract the revenue and the cost, then we will get the profit. The next one is loss. Pag sinabing loss, it refers to the negative profit. Okay, so the cost exceeds the revenue. This is what happens when the cost exceeds the revenue. Then the last one is break-even point. So the break-even point is the level of production at which the costs of production equal the revenue for a product. No po. So nandun na din yung ating process, no, nabanggit na rin. So kapag nag-equal yung cost sa revenue, that is the time that we identify the break-even point. So, iisa-isahin natin tong mga to. This lesson will make use of your previous knowledge sa basics ng ating algebra, functions specifically. Okay, so we all of these terms will be represented with functions. No, yung kung natatandaan niyo yung f of x na tinatawag. Yan na po. So we will represent each one with functions. So let us start with what we call the revenue. So the revenue is the product of the selling price and the number of units sold. No, so the number of units sold is usually represented by the variable x. No po, so hindi naman lagi kasing kaya nating i-predict kung magkano or kung ilan yung maibebenta, 'di ba? So we use the variable so that we can just evaluate, 'di ba? Pag evaluate, we replace the variable, no? So we can just evaluate after natin na mai-represent yung iba pang um, mga terms like revenue, profit, and cost. Okay? So for number 1, for the first example, Ronnie imports branded shirts from Los Angeles and sells it at 220 pesos each. So, represent his revenue for selling X number of shirts. No, so, halimbawa, nakabenta siya ng isang piraso. We know that that one or the revenue will be 220 times 1. Kapag dalawang piraso, edi 220 times 2 ang kanyang magiging revenue. Kung halimbawa 10, 220 times 10. No? So, back to basics tayo. Halimbawa, kung itong lahat ng ito yung variable eh. Kasi ito yung nagbabago ang value. Okay? So, kung lahat ng ito, we represent it with the variable x. So, therefore, number 1, the revenue function will be represented by 220 X. Now, the revenue function, syempre, para may pakita na function siya, we use R. Then, ito. No, so, function of X po siya. Yan. So, our revenue function is 220x for number 1. Then, for number 2, Melody is a franchisee of multiple burger chains. Her store only sells one kind of burger at 18 pesos and 50 centavos each. Represent her revenue for selling X number of burgers. No, so kung napansin niyo po dun sa una nating ginawa, all we did is we multiplied yung kung magkano yung niya binenta sa kung ilan yung kanyang units sold. No? So, since we do not know the number of units sold, we just write X. So, ibig sabihin for number 2, to represent the revenue function, sorry, dapat pala ito nilagay ko. Yan. So, revenue function ng una is 220x. Then, the revenue function for Meldy's Burgers will be 1850 or 18.5x. Opo, so magkano yung ating burger times kung ilang piraso yung burger. That one will be the revenue function. Next. So, let's proceed with the cost. Okay? So, sa atin pong statement, now we already know that profit will be equal to the revenue minus cost. So, tapos na tayo sa revenue, punta naman tayo sa cost. No, so the cost will be composed of two parts. The first part is the variable cost and the second one will be the fixed cost. No, so pag fixed cost, this pertains to the expenditures that remain the same no matter how much the product is manufactured or sold. So, kumbaga, hindi siya nababago kahit pa anong mangyari dun sa ating pagkaka-manufacture ng product. So, anong example nun? Siyempre, halimbawa, yung rent, yung basic telephone expenses kada buwan, wages ng employee, o kaya naman ay kung magkano yung babayaran mo sa loan o kaya naman ay sa lease ng lugar na inuupahan ninyo. 'Di ba? So, yun yung fixed cost. Then we also have what we call the variable cost. So pag variable cost, the expenses that vary or change directly with the amount of product produced. So anong example no? Halimbawa yung sa raw material mo, no, sa labor, yung mga ano po, yung pinagpapagawaan mo ng iyong mga kinukuhaan ng supply, 'di ba? So ganoon. Also yung energy, syempre no, nagbabago din po 'yan. Kung hindi man weekly monthly, 'di ba? So for the cost, all we have to do is to add the two. No, but since the one of the two will have a variable, no, so we will just write it in a form of polynomial. So, for example, ito, kaduktong ng kwento ng kay Ronnie. So, Ronnie, who sells branded shirts from Los Angeles, buys each shirt at 125 pesos each. Okay? So, yung 125 na yun yung presyo kada isang t-shirt. No? So, kung ilan man yung t-shirt, kung dalawa, tatlo, apat, 10, no, to get the cost, all you have to do is to multiply 125 by the number of shirts. Then, sabi dito, he also spends a total of 133,000 pesos for taxes, wages of distributors, rent of warehouse, distribution and freight costs, etc. Represent the total cost. Okay? So, bukod sa 125 kada isang piraso ng shirt, meron din siyang ginagastos na 133,000. No? But you've already learned that we cannot add the two because they are not similar terms. So if we add them, all we have to do is to put a plus sign in between them. So therefore, our cost function will be 125x plus 133,000. No, so yan yung kay Ronnie. So number 1. Then for number 2, Mel D, who has a franchise of burger chains, computed the unit cost of a burger that they sell at 10 pesos and 40 centavos. She already computed her monthly cost at 1,150,000 pesos for the franchise fee, utilities, wages, etc. Represent the total cost. So again, dahil kada burger will require her 10 pesos and 40 centavos. So 10 pesos and 40 centavos times the number of the burgers. Then, fixed cost naman niya. So, ang fixed cost naman niya every month is 1,150,000. So, all we have to do is to add that. 1,150,000 pesos. And that will be the cost function. Okay. So, let us proceed. So, for the profit, yun nga, sabi nga natin, profit is the difference of the revenue and the cost. Okay, so to find the profit function, all you have to do is to subtract the revenue function and the cost function. No? So, for number 1, para kay Ronnie, no, ang kanyang profit function will be equal to the revenue function. Ang revenue function niya kanina ay 220x, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, minus yung kanya pong cost function na 125x plus parang 133,000 yun. Okay? So, ayan yung ating magiging start. No, we substituted first in our formula. So, to simplify, 220x minus 125x. Okay? So, our answer here will be 5. Tapos, 21 and 12, we have 9. So, 95x. Then, since this is subtraction, it will affect as well yung ating 133,000. No, so magiging negative na yung 133,000 natin. Okay? And this will be the profit function for Ronnie's shirt business. Then for Meldy's Burger, delete ko lang to ha. So for Meldy's Burger, ang kanya pong given ay 1850, kung hindi ako nagkakamali. So we have the profit function which is equal to 1850x minus yung kanyang cost function na 1040x plus 1,150,000 pesos. Okay? So, 1850 minus 1040. Okay? So, that one is equal to 8.1 or 8.10x. Then, the minus sign will affect your fixed cost. So, it's minus 1,150,000. Ayan. So, this will be the profit function for Meldy's Burger business. Ayan. Okay. Now, the last item will be about the break-even point. No? So, kung kanina, we subtracted the 2 to get the profit. To get the break-even point naman, we have to equate the 2. No, so kapag nakuha natin yung break-even point, kumbaga, kapag nakabenta ka ng ganun kadami, ibig sabihin tabla ka na. Nabawi mo na yung puhunan mo at saka hindi ka naman nalugi. So ganun po yung kanyang idea. So for number 1, si Ronnie po, 'di ba sabi nga natin si Ronnie 220 ang kanyang revenue function. Then, yung kanyang cost function is 125x plus 133,000 pesos. Okay? So, solve for x. Okay? Kasi we are going to find the number of units or items that will bring you to a break even. Okay? So, if we have here what 220x minus, we transpose, no? Or we apply subtraction property. So, we will have here, oh yeah, 95x. Then, dividing both sides by 95, x will be equal to, ayan, let me use my calculator. Nasaan ang calculator ko? Okay, so 133,000 divided by 95. Okay, so it's 1,400. Ano yung ating unit? It's not pesos. This one is shirts. No, so ibig sabihin kailangan makabenta si Ronnie ng 1,400 shirts para mabawi niya yung kanyang puhunan. Okay? So, ayan yung ating answer sa number 1. Then, for number 2, kay Meldy naman, so we have here, again, the revenue function equals the cost function. Revenue function ni Meldy ay 1850x. And the cost function niya is 1040x plus 1,150,000. Okay? So, subtracting the two, hindi ko na isusulat ulit kasi medyo masikip. Okay? But if we subtract 1850 and the 1040, we have 8.1 x equals 1,150,000. No, so dito sa case na to, if ever our result is not um, exact, you have to round it up. Ibig sabihin, yung next whole na ang iyong gagawin. So, if we have 1,150,000 divides sa 8.1, we have 141,975.308. No, kahit 0.3 siya ang kasunod niya. No, we round it up. So, therefore, x is equal to 141,976. No, this one is burgers. Okay. So, ayan. So, more examples on our next video.